The global spotlight is firmly fixed on Jin, the eldest member of BTS, as he makes his highly anticipated appearance at Gucci's Spring-Summer 2026 showcase during Milan Fashion Week. The 32-year-old superstar, who departed from Incheon International Airport earlier this week amid scenes of chaos and fan frenzy, has now arrived in Italy, instantly becoming one of the most talked-about figures of the season. While Milan Fashion Week is traditionally dominated by Hollywood celebrities and European icons, Jin's presence has shifted the narrative. Fashion journalists in the United States were quick to draw comparisons between his effortless charisma and Harry Styles, one of America's most influential fashion trendsetters. Jin carries the same boldness that Harry brought to the international stage, one US columnist wrote, but with a distinctly refined elegance that feels uniquely his own. The comparison is no small feat. Styles has long been celebrated for breaking gender and cultural boundaries in fashion, yet industry insiders argue that Jin is carving out a new archetype of global style leadership. His ambassadorship with Gucci, which began in 2024, has been a commercial triumph, with campaigns featuring Jin consistently breaking digital engagement records. Now, with his arrival in Milan, Gucci has positioned him at the center of its global strategy, underscoring the power of K-pop in shaping contemporary luxury. Crowds gathered outside the venue hours before the show, many of them armies who traveled across Europe to witness Jin's debut at Milan Fashion Week. Fans waved Korean and Italian flags, holding banners that read "Worldwide Handsome Takes Milan." Inside, editors from Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, and LUSA noted how the cameras followed Jin with the same intensity typically reserved for Hollywood royalty. The Spring-Summer 2026 collection itself was a spectacle of heritage and innovation, but social media trends suggested that Jin eclipsed even the runway. On X, formerly Twitter, hashtags like Jin's Gucci SS26 and Jin Takes Milan dominated global conversations, surpassing even mentions of the collection's designers. US fashion critics highlighted that Jin's understated yet commanding presence sets a precedent for how male idols can redefine modern luxury branding. Beyond fashion, cultural analysts in both Korea and the US emphasize the deeper implications of Jin's Milan appearance. His ability to rival Western icons like Harry Styles in media coverage signals a tectonic shift in global pop culture, one where K-pop artists are no longer guests in elite Western spaces, but co-architects of the narrative. This isn't just Jin attending a fashion show, one American entertainment outlet declared. This is Jin rewriting the rules of global celebrity. As the flashbulbs dimmed and the show concluded, one fact remained clear: Jin's journey from Seoul to Milan was not just another event in the fashion calendar, it was a declaration of cultural influence, a moment where K-pop's eldest prince became fashion's newest king. What became undeniable in Milan was not just Jin's ability to stand alongside figures like Harry Styles, but his ability to redefine the benchmark itself. Where Styles built a reputation by challenging convention, Jin elevates the conversation by blending quiet humility with commanding elegance. His aura carries none of the spectacle for spectacle's sake that often drives celebrity fashion. Instead, it is his natural grace, his authenticity, and his undeniable magnetism that make even the simplest gestures, walking through an airport, entering a venue, waving at fans, feel monumental. American outlets, once accustomed to placing K-pop idols in comparative context, began shifting their tone. Articles moved beyond questions of how Jin measures up, and instead focused on how the world must now measure up to him. Jin isn't catching up to Hollywood, one US commentator wrote. Hollywood is racing to keep pace with Jin. This transformation of narrative signals a broader truth. Jin is no longer defined by the stage he walks on, but by the global audience that follows his every move. His Milan Fashion Week appearance wasn't just a moment for Gucci, or even for BTS, it was a moment for culture itself, a reminder that influence today comes not from geography, but from authenticity and connection. The frenzy of Incheon Airport, the glow of Milan's catwalks, the trending hashtags across continents together, they tell the same story. Jin has transcended comparison. He is not merely the Harry Styles of K-pop. He is Jin of BTS, the standard, the phenomenon, the artist who turned Fashion Week into history. And as the world waits for the next chapter of BTS's reunion in 2026, one thing is already clear: Jin's reign as a cultural icon has only just begun, and no stage, no city, no industry can contain it. The images from Milan will linger far longer than the fleeting trends of Fashion Week. They will stand as proof that Jin has entered a realm where even the brightest Hollywood stars cannot overshadow him. His arrival in Italy was not just about Gucci, not just about a front row seat, but about the global shift of influence away from Western dominance toward a new balance where K-pop idols define the cultural rhythm of the world. For decades, Milan Fashion Week was a temple for European elegance and American celebrity influence. But this September, it became something more. It became the stage where a South Korean artist, who once humbly called himself worldwide handsome as a joke, walked into the spotlight and owned it without effort. Jin did not have to force attention, he drew it naturally, with the poise of a man who knows exactly who he is and what he represents. Fans, critics, and fellow stars alike recognized it. Jin is no longer the story of comparison, he is the headline of transformation. His presence blurred borders, transcended categories, and reminded the world that artistry and authenticity will always outshine spectacle. As the final lights dimmed over Gucci's Spring-Summer 2026 showcase, there was no doubt who the true star of Milan was. It wasn't the designer, it wasn't Hollywood, it was Jin standing at the intersection of music, fashion, and culture, carrying not just a brand, but an entire generation on his shoulders. And perhaps the most remarkable part, this is only the beginning. Jin's Milan journey is already being called one of the most defining celebrity moments of 2020. Global media outlets, from New York to London, are publishing headlines that place his name above the very designers he came to support. Fashion magazines have released early drafts of October covers, hinting that Jin may soon grace their pages, not as an accessory to the fashion world, but as its centerpiece. Industry experts in Los Angeles point out that Jin's attendance has had a measurable financial impact. Early reports from stock trackers reveal a spike in Gucci's parent company shares within hours of his arrival in Milan, echoing the Jin effect that has followed every brand he has touched. For luxury houses, this moment has proven that Jin is not just a celebrity endorsement, he is a force capable of reshaping consumer behavior across continents. Meanwhile, the streets of Milan have turned into a living tribute. Fans have plastered posters with his image across the city, while local cafes have been playing his solo tracks, Epiphany and Moon, as an informal soundtrack to Fashion Week. In a city that has hosted legends for decades, Jin's presence has brought an electricity rarely felt before, an electricity born not of fashion alone, but of the convergence of music, culture, and global identity. Cultural commentators stress that what sets Jin apart is his ability to represent more than just himself. He carries the spirit of BTS, the pride of South Korea, and the dreams of ARMY who see in him a reflection of resilience and authenticity. While Hollywood celebrities often dominate these events through spectacle or controversy, Jin dominates through meaning. Every step, every glance, every quiet smile becomes part of a larger story of connection. As Milan Fashion Week marches on, the inevitable conclusion is that Jin has shifted the axis of attention. Where once critics asked how K-pop idols could measure up to Western icons, now the question has reversed: how can Western icons measure up to Jin? His journey from Seoul to Milan has crystallized what many already knew. He is not borrowing space on the global stage, he is building it anew. And as the final applause faded and the cameras clicked one last time, one sentiment echoed across fans, critics, and industry insiders alike. This was not just a fashion moment, it was history written by Jin.